What's up, team? We're going to start in just a few minutes. I'll be back with you soon. Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing today? Nice to have you here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I can't hear.
Can't hear.
Good morning.
All right. All right. I hear you.
Good morning.
Morning, everybody. Glad to have you here today, folks. We are going to go ahead and jump on in to our Ignite class today, prospecting, maybe the only class you really need to know in all of real estate, right? It's all about lead gen. It's all about prospecting. We got to find that business. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it. You know, we've been talking about this slide since we started growing the business, running the business, and today it's all about the lead gen. We're going to talk a little bit about the differences between prospecting and marketing. Marketing will be on Thursday this week as well. But, you know, today, here's our plan. Okay, we're gonna talk about connecting prospecting to lead gen, and then we're gonna go do a little bit of more of a deep dive into a few different prospecting methods like open houses, door knocking, you know, active lead gen to bring new people into your database. And then we're gonna actually go through and talk about creating a plan for you to execute on, and then we'll recap our ahas. So let us go ahead and proceed. So, you know, this is one of our models. You know, in Keller Williams, we're all about systems and models, and this model is basically how any, you know, business could be looked at in terms of growing and producing revenue, right? So, like, we have our prospecting and marketing initiatives, which we're talking about today, which helps us capture leads. Leads being one-way conversations that we're sending messages out to with the hope that we can turn them into contacts, which is a two-way conversation where they're actually responding, engaging, and communicating with us. And then that leads to us connecting with the consumer and enabling us to be able to cultivate that person and ideally turn them into a client. And once we have that person cultivated and, pushing them through the process, that means we then book an appointment. We have an active client at that point. Once we've gotten them pre-qualified, pre-approved, et cetera, they go under contract, we close, we get paid. And that is like the lead gen model overview. Okay, so very powerful to think about it in this way. This is how a business runs. This is how your business runs and operates. Now, when we think about lead gen, it has to be purposeful and intentional. And really, lead generation is the life of your business. So what is lead gen? Well, we talk about lead gen in terms of what we call the 2 M's method. Okay, so you can see on the screen here, M1 is the message and M2 is the method. Okay, so lead gen is taking a message, right? It's taking a message and it is driving that message to a desired audience. Okay, so the 2 M's means taking a message and using a certain form of delivery. Now, what do we think about when we think about a message? Well, first of all, it needs to match your market. And then secondly, it needs to make an immediate offer for a response of some sort. Okay, so you need to be thinking about like, who is your market and what is the offer that you are giving to that market? Okay, so your messaging should match the market by tailoring the intended message to the sentiments and market conditions of a target group in the area in which you operate. And the message should have a call to action that can be direct, right? Like call me now for information, or indirect, meaning go follow my social media profiles, go to my website, download my consumer app. And then we have our method, and the method basically is the difference between prospecting and marketing. Okay, and what we do with that is we time block and we prepare, take action, and we maintain the actual method in which we choose. Okay, so we're going to cover both. Today's prospecting, marketing will be next week. So let's talk about the differences between the two briefly. Marketing is at the top. Okay, money intensive, passive, long-term results. So marketing, you can think of things like running social media ads, Google pay per click, doing direct mail, right? Sending out letters, newsletters, etc., or whatever method, putting banners up on schools, any way that you're basically putting a message out in the community, waiting for someone to respond to you. Okay, so it can be considered as being more passive because we're waiting for the business to come. We're lead receiving. Okay, and then prospecting is more time intensive, right? Prospecting means it takes more of your time and less of your dollars. When you think of doing an open house for 6-7 hours, right? That's a big chunk of your day that you're out there prospecting, right? Door knocking, right? It may take you an hour or more to knock on 50 doors, and you need to hit 1,000 a month to get 1,000-person farm. So that's going to be a significant chunk of your time as well. And it's very proactive. It's very much you're in control with the number of people you speak to, and you're very much in control with the amount of results you can generate, right? So like when I was more prospecting based, every day it was 30 contacts minimum, Monday through Friday. I'd be on the phones at 7:30, and by 10:30, I would have my 30 contacts done. Ideally, I would have booked at least one appointment, okay? Now, over time, as I got busy and started selling houses, I didn't have as much time to devote 15 hours a week in terms of prospecting. And so I became more marketing based and started running more ads to bring more business in as I serviced the leads that I generated. So, when we're really launching and trying to get to, 25 to 35 transactions a year, for the most part, many agents are going to be more prospecting based. Again, it's free. We have the time. We can be out knocking on doors, making calls, doing the open houses, especially we don't have a full book of business. If we don't have 4 or 5 escrows or even 5 or 6 escrows going on at any given time, we have more time to do our prospecting for lead generating. And then as you become successful and you start selling 30 or 40 homes a year, you're going to flip you're going to become more marketing based and then prospecting enhanced, meaning you're going to market to bring more leads in, and then the prospecting you do will be to the leads that you've already generated, as opposed to prospecting, which is where you're going to finding your leads. Okay. Let me put the manual in the chat so we have it available if you don't have it already. Let's see. Go. And I'm going to be on, let's see here, page number 4, I believe. Yes, I'm on page number 4 in the manual if you guys want to follow along. And we're looking at basically the list of different prospecting methods. Let's see, I'm getting to my page here. Okay, there we go. So when I'm looking at page 4, I'm seeing prospecting and marketing, and there's obviously some overlap as well. But on our slide here, we have the prospecting side of things, along with the ones that are kind of deemed to be more on both. So let's look and see what we got here, right? So we have phone or face-to-face, which is going to be mostly what your prospecting is. So we have listings without agency, meaning for sale by owners, and expired listings, both great opportunities because these are your hand raisers. You know, most agents that really want to find now business, they're going to get really good at expireds and for sale by owners very, very quickly. You have to have a pretty high level of skill for these, which is totally fine because it gives you incentive to get better at your craft right away, right? That's what I used to call every day. 30 contacts would be 30 expireds. Now, back then, there were a lot more expireds. Right now, we're not seeing as many just because homes are pretty much selling every time they get listed, but that market will return. So it's never a bad thing to be, lead generating to the expireds today. Same thing with for sale by owners. There will be a few more FSBOs now when prices are so high and there's limited inventory. Savvy owners will think that they can list for sale by owner and still net more money than they can if they were to list with an agent. Okay. Next, we have circle prospecting. So what is that? Well, basically, it's taking a map, drawing a circle around an area, and calling through the neighborhoods, the apartment complexes, and advertising recently sold or recently listed properties. That's something that you can do right away. There are some great services that provide this data for you guys, by the way, Land Voice being one of them, the Red X being one of them, Vulcan 7, Mojo is a dialer, but I believe they also sell data. So to do the circle prospecting, to get the FSBOs and get the expireds, you can find some for free. But the pro level is going to be to invest in your business and subscribe to one of these services. Number 3, we have community outreach, charity, volunteer work, right? Very effective way to expand your network and meet new people. Remember, what prospecting, the goal is to add people to your database. Now, ideally, we would add leads, but we also want to add just more people, just expanding your network, because the more people that you have in your database, the odds tell us that you have more likelihood to pick up transactions, right? The numbers tell us that for every 6 people in your database, there is a real estate transaction there somewhere along the way, whether it's a purchase, a sale, a referral, or even a rental. Okay. So if you've got 60 people in your database, that's 6 potentials for business. Now you've got to earn that business by communicating to that database over and over again, obviously, right? So number 4 here, we have key relationships, corporate, right? Do you have access to anybody in a corporate position, relocation, HR? Like, who do you know? Builders, right? Are you going out and looking for small developments and meeting the builders? That could be a great way to create inventory through new construction. Banks, who are your lenders? Who do you bank with? Do you go into a branch? A lot of agents in the past would do bank days where they would go sit at a bank. They would create a relationship with the lender in the bank. And then on Fridays or on the 1st of the month or the 15th, whatever the paydays are, agents would go and bring like a little poster board with listings and home buyer tips and things like that. great way to have just traffic coming right by like a booth. We used to do this all the time at the Chase down on 2nd Street in Belmont Shore and Long Beach. And we would do it on their Stroll and Saver nights where there'd be thousands of people walking by. It was a great way just to meet people in the community, give value, have promotional materials to give out. So you can go in and think about, are you with, Wells, B of A, Chase, who do you bank with? And is that appropriate to go meet somebody there and create a relationship? Could be huge, right? Third-party data companies, like we talked about, Landvoice and the Red X being a couple of them. Meeting investors, there's a ton of investors out there. Teaching and speaking opportunities can be an incredible way to meet new clientele. In fact, I believe I posted this last week, but I'm going to grab it again real quick. 1 second. KW created a home buyer workshop, and they put the slides up and everything, and they actually showed how to basically do an entire home buyer workshop with the slides online. You can do it online or in person, but I'm going to grab this link and give it to you guys right now. All right, that is in the chat. Take a look at that, folks. Download the slides, have that available for you. Copy and paste that into your notes so you have it. I used to do events basically 2 a week. At my old office, I would do a real estate school one for recruiting purposes, but the second one that I did was called 7 Steps to a 700 FICO Score. And we did it every Saturday at 10 a.m. and it got people in the door. I would tell them how to build their credit with 7 simple tools. And many people think they have bad credit, but they don't even know because they've never run it before. And we would have a lender there. The lender would be available for pre-quals right after the presentation. Great way to fill the pipeline. So are you utilizing events in your business? And if not, we're missing out. Okay. Huge opportunity. Meals, just meeting people and going out for lunches and coffees. Then we have door-to-door canvassing, door knocking. We have networking events, booths and kiosks, like I mentioned at the banks. And then, not a ton of walk-in traffic these days, but that's certainly possible as well. Okay. So there's multiple ways to lead gen, and we're going to talk a little bit in depth about a couple of them today. Okay. So as we said, be prospecting based, marketing enhanced, meaning you want to be out talking to people in the community purposefully, and then marketing enhanced by adding in other ways to be in front of people through email campaigns and maybe some direct mail, note cards, holiday cards, things like that. Okay, so we're going to look at door knocking, agent referrals, open houses, and social media today. Okay. All right. So first and foremost, we're going to look at door knocking, and I'm on page number 5 here, and there's some notes that you can take on approach, act, ask, and advance. Okay. So why doors? Why door knocking? Well, what are the benefits? Well, it can help you jumpstart your business right away by going out into the community and meeting people, right? You can promote yourself by talking to potential clients and just consumers in the industry or in the community, right? It gives you the ability to have face-to-face contact with people. It allows you to start the process of building a farm. And it allows you to create relationships so people remember who you are, right? The more name recognition and branding that you have so people can think of you when they think of real estate, the better off you're going to be. And picking a neighborhood and knocking on doors in that area over and over and over again over the course of a year, by the end of the year, people are going to be waving to you because they know who you are. They're expecting to see you, right? Especially if you wear some KW branded swag and shirts, things like that. Let people know who you are and what you do, so you can build those relationships, right? So one of the most important things, obviously, with door knocking is in the approach, we have to know your script. We have to have a script, okay? I'm using the chat a lot today, but I'm going to type in here my link to my scripts folder where I've compiled, Kevin Ward and Mike Ferry and KW scripts, the Ignite scripts, etc. There's a ton of scripting in there. you have to know what to say. You can't show up to a door and just kind of wing it, right? Hey, how you doing? Do you want to sell your house, right? If that's your approach, you are going to have a tough time. Okay, that is not acceptable in terms of an approach. Okay, so you got to know what to say, and that goes back to the M's, right? What is the message that you're delivering in the community, and how are you bringing value, right? I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the way I do scripting for doors in a second here. Okay. The second part of approach, ready your mindset and materials. Okay. Mindset. What are you looking to accomplish? How are you approaching knocking on doors? If you're going to go hit 50 doors, your mindset needs to be, how many people are you going to add to the database? How many people's email and phone numbers are you going to capture today? When you're out there, knock on the door. I always recommend take a step back from the door, create some space so you're not right in front of the door, especially, we're still in a pandemic, right? So, be more than 6 feet away, obviously, is probably a good idea. But do step back and create space. By the way, I get this question, can we door knock? Can we do open houses? Yes, we can do all of our normal activities. All of our restrictions are eased, except some, minor mask, considerations. Okay, so be out there, get out and start doing your job, right? The second part of doors is take action, act. And what I have in my notes is this: actively listen. Actively listen. We have to be listening. When you're lead generating or doing an appointment with somebody, you should be listening more than half the time. If you're talking, it's because you're trying to pitch something. Usually you're trying to convince somebody to do something, and it's the wrong way to go about it. We have to be listening. We have to be giving value, coming from contribution, and then trying to learn and understand. Seek first to understand what it is they're looking to accomplish, and then how can you help, right? So what are the needs? How can I help you, right? Which again, I'm going to talk about in just a second. The third part of this is ask. Now we got to ask for business. So obviously we're at the door, so we do need to ask for business. Have you thought about moving? When do you plan on moving? Do you know anyone that wants to move in this area? Or do you know anybody that wants to move into this area? Do you know anybody who wants to move at all in any area, right? We want to know, who do you know? Who do you know? And then ask for permission to stay in touch. Remember, a contact is two-way communication. So, hey, do you mind if I check in with you from time to time and bring you some more real estate information relevant to your area? Yes. Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, that's the advanced part. Add them into the database. Get them on the touch campaigns, right? Get them on our smart plans, the monthly or bi-weekly neighborhood nurture. They should be getting 2 emails a month from us, minimum. Okay. One of my coaching clients was out knocking on doors and said, I spoke to about 40 people today. Should I send them all a thank you card? And I said, that's a great idea. Now I said, maybe not every single one of them. If they just answered the door and said, no, thank you, maybe you're not sending a card to them. But if you had a conversation with somebody, absolutely say, hey, great speaking with you. Just wanted to send you my card. Hope you're having a great day. That little gesture alone will be much more beneficial than a lot of other touches like an email, right? When's the last time, by the way, you can think of that you've got a handwritten card in the mail?
Christmas.
All right, there you go, right? Christmas. And when we say handwritten, that usually just means they signed it, right? So, yep, you got it. It's usually right around the holidays is the last time we get a card. And we get a whole bunch at the same time, right? And then we don't get any throughout the whole year. So what if you're the one sending out a couple cards around other times of the year? It can be very, very powerful. I wanted to talk about how I do door knocking, okay? One of my mentors told me once that people will give you their information for a couple reasons. One is you have something they want. You have something they want. And I think of that meaning like a raffle, a giveaway of some sort. If I'm at an open house and I say, hey, we're going to raffle off a $200 gas card. I just need your name and email and phone number right here, right? Oh, I want a gas card. I'm in. Okay, so they'll give you the information, right? So you have something they want. The second reason people will give you their information is if you create a gap in their knowledge. What does that mean? Well, basically means that you're demonstrating that you know something that they should know, but they don't know, right? So that could be as simple as like using some shock value by like, saying something like this, you're talking to a homeowner, you know what? I was blown away by what your neighbor sold their home for off market. You want me to send you some details about it, right? Or I might say something like, I've been out knocking on doors, meeting the neighbors, and I just realized all the neighbors that I've spoken to asked me about how crazy the homes have gone up, and they wanted to see some statistics. I have that, right? So do you know how much properties have gone up by in your neighborhood, right here in your own neighborhood? No? Wow. Okay, cool. Sounds like something you should know. So that's a couple of things that I will do is I always love using the, your neighbor's been asking me for this, so I just gave it to him for free. Would you like it as well? Like a CMA or some stats, right? So I'm getting him to kind of be part of the crowd mentality, right? Meaning everybody else has got this, you don't, you should have this, right? Also, when I do door knocking, I always think in my mind, what do people in the community want? What do homeowners want? Okay, and it could be a variety of things. And I compile a list. Here's the things that I think that most homeowners would want. Number one, they might want to know what their home's worth, right? A CMA, that's easy. You guys can all do CMAs, right? Pretty easily. I think about this. Sometimes they want to know not just what their current home is worth, but what the neighbors are selling for ongoing, like a market snapshot, right? Or a monthly neighborhood nurture or an MLS drip. Okay, that's something that they want. I think about this. We have access to property profiles through title. What's on a property profile? Well, it can show things like the grant deed, the deed of trust, maybe any other deeds recorded or liens, or tax information, right? It could show things that might not be right with the house, maybe like a discrepancy in bedrooms and baths, things like that. And we have these property profiles. We get them from free from title, or they have their apps they give us. We can pull them ourselves. That sounds pretty important. I think every homeowner should be able to review their deeds or liens every year just to see if anything's going on that they're not aware of with the property, right? I think about this. What homeowner wouldn't love to have a list of handymen or repair people in the area? So make a list. And if you don't have referrals, just go to Yelp. Electrician, pick the top highest rated, the top 2 or 3, and put them on a list, right? So find your top Yelp referrals for any area, right? That's just 4 things that I think of. So when I'm knocking on doors and I'm telling them, hey, your neighbor just sold a home down the street, 3-bedroom, 2-bath for $599. And I was just wondering, who do you know that would like to move into the area? Nobody thinks we're thinking about it. How about you? When do you plan on moving? How long will you live in this address? Where'd you move from? How'd you pick this area? If you were to move, where would you go next? And how soon would that be? You're not thinking about moving. Great. By the way, your neighbor, a couple of your neighbors have asked for some of the tools that I have. One of which is a list of the top rated repair people and handymen in the area. One of which is a property profile to look at the deeds and liens recorded against your home. Which of these would you like? And that's my close. Which of these would you like? I don't ask, do you want one of these? That's a yes or no question. Which of those? Do you want the property profile, the snapshot, the market stats, the CMA, or the handyman? Or do you want the whole buffet? I'll give it all to you, no problem, right? So now you've given them all this information and they'll pick something. They'll say, well, I would love to see what homes are selling for from time to time. Awesome. What's your email? By the way, what's your phone number while I'm writing that down? Okay, boom. Now we have a reason for them to give you the information. If you just go and pitch a listing that closed recently and you ask, you want to sell your home, and they say no, conversation's done. You have to have an item about you. By the way, same thing for open houses, same thing for all lead generation. Why is somebody going to give you their contact info? You have to have something available. Okay. All right. I want to show the next thing here, which is agent to agent referrals. I have sold homes for other agents. In fact, I'm closing an escrow today from a referral from a real estate broker, right? He's also an attorney, has no idea how to sell a house, even though he's got a broker's license. All he did was pass the test. And so he sends me his business because he doesn't know what to do with it. And I pay him a referral fee for it. Okay. And also when I think of agent to agent referrals, I think of out of state, out of county. So does anyone on this call not know a friend or a family member that lives outside of LA or Orange County? Another county, another city, another state? We all know somebody, right? So think about, where are your referral sources and how are you meeting agents there? Okay, let's look real quickly in Command. I want to show you how our referral network works so you can go and increase it and find new people. Okay, so here we are in Command, and I want you guys to remember, if you click the little KW logo at the top, it's going to open up the menu so you can see what everything is. And in this one, I want to pick our referral network. So I'm going to click referrals. And you may have referrals in here, you may not, okay? But what you can do is you can use the referral network to find people in all the areas where you have friends or family living, okay? So I'm going to click on the map. Now, let's say that I want to find somebody in Pocatello, Idaho. Why? That's where I was born, folks. Pocatello, Idaho. And check this out. I have family that still lives there. So if I want to create a referral network, all I have to do is go in here and pick and find the agents that I feel are going to be the ones that I want in my network. Okay. So here's Pocatello. Now I can go in there and I can look at production. I can go look at the market centers in that area, the offices. I can find my network of people that I've already added, right? Or I can go in and look at referral patterns, which we'll look at in a second. Now, on this side, I can filter, right? You saw that I clicked the filter button here. I can filter by how many units somebody has closed, how many listings or buy sides they've done, how many leases they've done, okay? So I can go in here and say, I want to find somebody that I know is a good listing agent. So they've done at least 10 listings in that area. Okay, so that's what I am going to search for. I'm going to hit apply. Okay, boom. So now I've got 13 agents in that area that I can add to my network. Okay, so I'm just going to pick at random the first person that I see right here nearby in Idaho Falls, Greg. I can pull up his phone number, his email, Pocatello Realtor at Gmail. That's a pretty good indication of where the guy works, right? Closed 160 units in the past year, or 178, not too bad total. So doing pretty good. I'm going to click this little button to add them to my network. And I can put a message or I can just send the invitation, boom, done. Okay. Now I'm going to wait for Greg to respond. Now, obviously I can just call Greg as well. I'm still going to use our referral fee agreement from Zip Forms and all that good stuff. So anyways, I wanted to show you how you can find people. Now, I also want to show you something kind of interesting. Referral patterns. Here's where I can find where are people moving from and to, right? And so I have Long Beach defaulted in here. People are moving from Long Beach. The majority of them are moving to Las Vegas, and then San Antonio, Dallas, and Austin. All of Texas is kind of right behind that, with Arizona behind that as well. So clearly Nevada, Texas, and Arizona are where people from Long Beach are generally speaking moving to, right? Well, I can do this as well. Watch, I can go find Pocatello. Let's take a look at this. Oh, too small of a town, looks like, unfortunately. I was born in a pretty small little place, okay? But anyways, you guys get the idea. So I can go, how about we do this, Boise. Where are people moving from and to? So from Boise, they're moving to all these areas. And to Boise, they're moving from Portland, Maine. Clackamas, Oregon, right? Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, Spokane, right? So this is a pretty cool little pattern, but this is going to help me figure out where are people moving from and to different areas. So that way I can start, thinking about where my referral network patterns are and where I want to meet agents at. So obviously you want to find where people are moving from to your town. Okay. All righty. Let me 1 second. Get back to this. Okay. I'm going to get back to our slides right now. Yes. Does somebody have a question? Nope. All right, cool. Sorry, folks. I'm just moving a bunch of windows around so I can get back to our material. There we go. All right, beautiful. So that's a great opportunity to get into command, learn how to use the referral section. Okay, the next thing I wanted to talk about is our open houses. Okay, so open houses obviously are back at this point. We've been about 4 weeks now since we've been able to do our traditional open houses again. And I want to share with you guys that in the past 30 days, I have had $2 million in closed and pending transactions from agents in my coaching program from open houses. Okay, 2 million bucks. And actually, it's like it's 2.5 million in open houses that have either closed or gone into escrow in the last 30 days, just from the time that we have started open houses again. If you are not getting out there and doing open houses, you are missing the boat. People will literally walk in right now, say, I want to buy this house, and they will write the offer. You will get that offer written. I had a listing where some of my coaching clients were doing open houses on it. And I had, I think, 5 offers from just the agents alone. Okay. Out of 21 total offices. And one of them ended up winning the deal. It closes today, actually. So there you go. You need to be out doing open houses. It's such a powerful tool. Now, why? Well, first of all, they're inexpensive. They're inexpensive. All you got to do is get your signs. And that's a one-time fee, basically. Once you have them, you can use them every weekend. And they have a great ROI. Probably one of the easiest ways to pick up now business that isn't as challenging or as competitive as expireds and FSBOs. The next one would be open houses for sure. Okay. Gives you a chance to leverage marketing. You can use your social media, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So let's talk about kind of the 3P method that we have here for open houses. And I'm on page 8 of the manual now, if you want to follow along and take some notes. So preparing is obviously about setting up for success for you. Okay. So the prepare page on page 8 of your manual talks about your weekly activity. Okay. Monday, it says select your open house, location and time, volunteer to host an open house for someone in your market center. You guys need to be posting in the Facebook groups, letting people know you're available for open houses. Okay. Now, some of you may be thinking, I don't know what to do in an open house. There's only one way to learn. It's by getting out there and doing an open house. You have no choice. You've just got to be out there doing the work. Okay. So get out, pick the open house, and just get it done. Your skill level will improve by doing the work over and over and over again. Okay. Now, if you don't have an agent that says you can hold my house open, you guys are going to need to be more proactive. You need to be looking at all the new listings in the market center. Can I host that open for you? Is it available for open houses? And if that doesn't work, you need to get in the MLS and get on the phones and start calling and looking for open houses. You guys all need to be finding them. If your GPS, if your business plan says you're doing 2 open houses a week, you can't come to your coach and say, I couldn't find one, and then tell me you didn't make any calls and try to find one, even if it's to outside companies, outside agents. Where there's a will, there's a way. If you're going to commit to it, you will find the open houses. Now, how many should you do? How long should they be? Personally, if you've got a new listing or you're hosting a listing that's new on the market, I would plan to be there 6 to 8 hours a day, honestly, right? I mean, we're working for a living. We're here to work and make money. So if I'm going to do an open house, if it's my listing and I'm really going to host it, I'm there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 10 to 6. No exceptions. I'm packing my lunch. I'm bringing drinks, got my water, right? Good to go. I got my snacks for guests, got my laptop, got my hotspot. I'm working from the property. Hopefully it's got AC, right? You can be smart when you're picking your open houses. And then camp out, be there, right? Because you will find people and you can do your work from the open houses. So yeah, like 11 to 1, no, you need to be out there for a good amount of time. So if that's 20 to 25 hours on a weekend, then you're going to blow up. You are going to fill your pipeline just that weekend alone. Okay. So going back to prepare, we find the open house. We do it early in the week, Monday, Tuesday, right? Because by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they're all booked up already. So we need to be jumping on them ASAP. Okay. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you can see post about your open house online. You now have something to market. So it needs to be in your social media. You need to be advertising that you are out there doing the open house, right? You need to think about how else are you going to promote besides online? Are you going to call the neighborhood? If so, get with Title or get with LandVoice or get with RedX and get the data to call through the neighborhood and let everybody know you're doing the open house. Okay. By Wednesday, and hopefully you've already done this, but you should have your mobile app on your phone. And if it's your listing, obviously a sign will be in the yard. And then later in the week, Thursday, call your database. Everybody in your database, this is a great touch to check in and say, hey, I'm doing an open house. Come visit me. Well, I say, I'm not buying a house. I know, just come and visit me, right? Bring me a Coke or something. Come on, help me out here, right? Make it look busy for me. Get your friends and family to pop by, see what you're doing. It's another touch for them to see that you're working, right? Obviously, at this point, you're going to return any calls, send out any emails and responses that are leads that you've generated. The one thing that's not here during the week is I like to start door knocking right away. I'm not going to wait till just the day of the open house. I'm going to be, if I get my open house on Monday, I'm going to door knock every day leading up to it. Okay. At least 20 doors is like the bare minimum, but I'd probably be door knocking closer to 100 to 150. Depending on what I'm advertising and the open house itself. Okay. And then on the day of the open house, I think a good idea is to get up early in the morning and put your signs out far earlier than the open house. Like you don't want to start putting signs up at 9 for a 10 o'clock open house. Couple reasons. One, it's not going to give you much time to get to the house, get prepped, open the doors, have everything ready to go. Two, it gets hotter the later it gets, right? So do it like at 7:30. 3, your signs are up in the neighborhood for a lot longer as well, which makes a lot of sense, right? So a lot of incentive to get up early, get the signs out, go home, freshen up, get ready, get to the home half an hour early, get the place opened up, ready to go. Okay. So that's the prepare part. The second thing on the slide here we have is prospect. Okay. So obviously, we want to focus on promoting and hosting the open house. We do have on page number 10 some basics here with proactively promoting the open house, which again, it goes back to what we talked about. Social media advertising, knocking on doors, circle prospecting. I would recommend running a Facebook ad about the open house through Command. Put in like $25. Try to get as many impressions as you can. Again, it's all branding. It's all them. It's all about your people and consumers seeing you and real estate and equating it to each other to earn business referrals and mind share. Okay. So the more social media and online stuff you're doing, the more people are going to see it, the more opportunities you're going to get. Okay. So that's prospecting. And then obviously when you host the open house, you need to know what questions to ask. I already posted my scripts link. There are open house scripts in there, right? One of my favorite couple of questions are, which home in the neighborhood do you own? Or do you need to sell a house to buy a house? My mindset at open houses, I'm looking for sellers. That's right. Many people think open houses are for buyers. Sellers walk into open houses. They want to see what their neighbors are doing, how they fixed it up, what the price is, what they could get for their home. So if you shift your mindset to only look for sellers, you ask seller related questions. You'll find the buyers automatically. They'll tell you, I want to buy this house, right? The sellers you need to ask, do you need to sell in order to buy another home? Awesome. Well, which home in the neighborhood do you own? Oh, you live around the corner. Great. I'd love to come see your place. I'm done here at 5. Can I come by at 5:30? Right? So you want to ask some of these probing questions. If it's a buyer, how long have you been looking? Have you been making offers? Boy, you have. I bet you're having a hard time getting an offer accepted in this market, aren't you? You are. Guess what? I specialize in that. We are specially trained in getting offers accepted in this competitive market. Would you like to hear more about that? Yeah? Cool. There's a Starbucks around the corner, 5 o'clock. I'll be there. Let's go. Right? You book the appointment. You have a conversation about the market. You get them to sign a buyer's agreement. Okay. Sounds easy when I just throw it out there, but you got to practice this stuff, right? I didn't just make these words up. These are things that I've been saying for over 20 years now, right? So you need to get the scripts and practice them. Okay. So the last P for open houses is pursue, right? And pursue basically in the bottom of page 10 means number one, get them into the database. Get them into the database. And then make sure that you're putting them into opportunities so you can track your progress and your conversion rates, right? And we want to make sure that we're staying on top of mind with everybody. And then get the contacts onto a smart plan to stay top of mind. Now, depending on who it is and what the conversation was like, they may go on different smart plans, which is why we have a bunch of different smart plans in Command. So speaking of which, I want to go back into Command real quick. So let me get that back up and running. Oops, not that one. That one. All right, here we go. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to go into my contacts tab. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, before I do that, I'm going to show you guys this opportunities. Okay. This is business ownership right here. Understanding the sales pipeline, how to use it to track your conversion rates and how to use it to look at your potential and probable income over time. Okay. If you notice here, I'll look at my buyer funnel right here. Okay. You see, I have cultivate, appointment, active, under contract, and closed, similar to our lead gen model. You can edit all of these, by the way. Okay. Now, in the cultivate section, this is when I first meet somebody. I have 3 categories. I've got watch, nurture, and hot. And I can move people kind of through this process as I'd like, right? So I just moved this client to nurture. So what's the difference? Well, these are all things you can set up yourself. Watch means it's a lead I generated. I'm keeping an eye on them, but we're not having great communication. Nurture would be like, okay, we spoke, they're interested, they're probably not ready yet, they need to do some work, fix up credit, I'm going to keep an eye on them. Hot, we're engaging in conversation and I'm just trying to book that appointment. In which case, if I did, I would move them into appointment. Okay. And if you look at these little percentages up here, Command's automatically going to figure out roughly the conversion rate when somebody is in a certain phase. So what does that mean? Well, if I've got somebody under contract, the likelihood I'm going to close that is pretty high. But if I've got somebody in the cultivate phase, the likelihood of me closing that is very low. And that's what dictates potential versus probable income. You see, I have 1 person in cultivate, 1 person under contract. My potential total income, 60 grand. But my probable income is only 16 grand because this person back here in cultivate is so far at the beginning of the funnel, they're not likely to become an actual client or a closing yet. So as you get more people into Command and start monitoring your numbers, you'll be able to track and monitor and see what's the likelihood of you earning income based on every person that you put in. Now, how do I get somebody into one of these categories? Simple. I go to my contacts. I pick the person I want in. I'm going to pick Angie. She's a lead. Over here on the right side, opportunities, smart plans we looked at, right? So I am going to click on my opportunities tab. No opportunities yet. So I just click, look, create opportunity. Easy. What do? I've got my office in there. This person is a listing or a buyer. We'll make them a buyer. I've got the client name. I can add more tags if I want at this time. I can put in their budget. Angie is looking at $750K. Average commission's about 2.5%. And I'm going to put her, we had a great conversation. I'm going to put her in cultivate hot because I'm trying to book an appointment, but I don't have an appointment yet. Okay. And then simply I click create. And that's it. Boom. Now Angie has an opportunity and I can keep an eye on her and track her in the opportunities section, right? We just added her to the cultivate phase right here, right? Remember, we just put her in cultivate. If I click that, I can see that Angie is now in the hot section. And now I can go back and monitor her card. If I book an appointment with Angie, I can move her up to the appointment phase and boom, there she goes to appointment right there. Okay, and that's how I move people within opportunities inside of Command. Any questions on Command opportunities? Pretty easy, right?
I'm still learning, Nick. I'm just watching the video to try to you explain it a little better where I can understand it a little better. But I will catch on. I'm just continuing to keep practice putting them in. So you taught me how to move them over.
I can help you with that for sure. Yeah, the first thing for every agent at KW is just get your contacts in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can start moving them into the different areas that they need to be in. Because not everybody's going to be in the opportunity section. That's really for active leads. But you may have a whole bunch of sphere of influence that aren't buying and selling, and they'll just be in the contacts, and that's fine.
Okay.
I can help you with this stuff, Kay, too, when we see each other.
Thank you.
Got it. All right. And you know what? Again, Command can be overwhelming because there are so many pieces to it. It's not just a CRM. Bite-sized pieces, guys. Just take one little thing at a time. Don't get too stressed. Just learn one tab a week. And after a couple of months, you'll have a better understanding of how each thing works. And then you can get a little bit more advanced on them. So don't feel like you have to learn it all at once. And certainly don't take big chunks of your day trying to learn it. You guys got to sell houses first and foremost. So maybe a half an hour at the end of the day, go mess around in one of the tabs. Or remember too, that we've got answers.kw.com. I just put it in the chat and it will, it goes into every single tab and every single feature as a tutorial. Really simple to go in there. There's also some YouTube channels that go a little bit deeper via video. So I can help you with some of those referrals. All right, let us get back into our slideshow right here. All right, we talked about Command and contacts and opportunities, and we talked about open houses. So here's a couple of other open house tips that I think are great. Host a speaker. And what is that? Well, basically, find somebody to be a buddy with you, maybe a lender. Lenders love to do open houses. Don't tell them I said that, right? They want to do open houses with you sometimes, but you can always find lenders that are up and coming and help you manage just the amount of people coming into the place, capture leads. If you're talking to someone, they can talk to someone. So, use your resources. You got great opportunities to have, speakers or guests. Next, we have offer a gift. Remember, we said that, giving some sort of a raffle is a great way to get content for contacts and contact information. Guys and gals, here's a 10X idea. Get a bunch of buddies in the office, okay, that are hosting open houses. And you guys can all put in $25, right? Let's say you get 5 people, $25 each, that's $125, and you can buy a $125 gift card. And then at your open houses, you can tell everybody that's coming in and say, at the end of the month, we're raffling off a $125 gift card for everybody that's come into our open houses. And then all 5 of you buddy up, get all your leads in a bowl and pick one of them, and then give out the gift card, right? And what that does though is instead of just having a $25 card that people may not be as excited about, right? You leverage your resources. You don't do it at every weekend open house. You do it once a month, so it's not a big expense to you. And that's how you like kind of crowd fund these bigger gifts, right? If you guys really want to put some money, you can do it on a quarterly basis and raffle off a big screen TV or something, right? A lot of cool things that you can do. And then of course, whoever wins has got to come to the office, pick it up. Everybody's using social media to announce the winner. You can, run the raffle through your social media, even if it's people that aren't buying and selling from the general public. Your sphere can come in and get on the raffle if you don't have their home address. Great way to get their address, right? So think about ways to use gifts as a resource, okay? Number 3, it says, get the house in showing shape. Obviously, we want this place looking good, ready to rock and roll. So, make sure you open the doors and the windows. Obviously, for coronavirus, that's certainly a smart thing. These days, I see a lot of people that are putting tables up outside. So you're not just kind of sitting in the inside of the home. You're letting people do their tours, then come out and you can chat them up at that point. Maybe get yourself a pop-up, one of those little shade covers or whatever. But you can be outside doing that. Make sure it smells good. Make sure you bring some air freshener with you. You can have some giveaways like bottles of water and things like that. And then number 4, go live. Go live. You need to be on video constantly, right? You need to be promoting yourself via video. It is the way of social media's future. As internet speeds get faster and faster, it's all going to be consumable video content, and people are watching, right? You think, who's going to watch my video? You would be surprised. People want to see what it is you're up to, and it's a great way to build your network even bigger, okay? So with that said, the last component we're going to talk about is social media. So in social, we have select, seek, share, and service. So what does that mean? Well, think about, first of all, select. Where are you going to post? What are some of your channels going to look like? Are you going to use Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok? There's so many out there. I'm seeing so much real estate on TikTok right now too, by the way. So if you're not doing that, easy app to use, definitely something to explore. Go follow as many agents as you can and see what other people are doing. And guess what? At KW, we have this concept of R&D, rip off and duplicate, right? Don't make it up. Use what other people are doing. It's funny, I've got so many agents on my social, and one will post a meme, and I will see that meme 15, 20 times that same day from other people, right? And they just think, oh, I'm the only one putting this out there. No, come on. Everybody's doing the same stuff, right? So don't think you're ripping off and stealing. You're just ripping off because they did the same thing. That's how they're finding it. So do the same thing as everybody else, okay? The point is you got to get something out. So select your channels, pick 1 or 2 to focus on. Facebook, Instagram, probably the most ubiquitous and easiest right now. TikTok's growing exponentially. YouTube can probably be the best converting if you are patient and are willing to edit, longer content, maybe more than like 30 or 60-second clips of information, okay? Think about your branding. What is your brand going to be? What is your niche? Who do you want to market to, right? Think about who you want to represent. Are you going to be a first-time homebuyer person? Are you going to be an investor person? Are you going to be like a move up or a move down or a second home or a vacation agent? What does that look like? Think about who you want to target and then create content all around that, okay? And then when we think about seek, right? That's the niche, that's the target, and we got to find people that are interested. So you want to be researching hashtags and searching. If your niche is first-time buyers, go on social media and search first-time home buyer and see what kind of content is out there. Follow all those people so you can get ideas for what to post, right? Which is share, post content, share posts, monitor your performance and see what kind of activity you're getting. And then use command to schedule posts for you. In command, you can actually schedule posts for your business page, which is pretty cool. Okay. And then service means essentially just interact with people, right? Comment, like, share. So you guys can all write this down or take a note. LCM, LCM. And that stands for like, comment, and message. Like, comment, and message. And what we're talking about here, folks, is creating a specific measurable plan for you on social for how many likes a day, how many comments a day, and how many messages you're going to send every day. Okay. Here's a simple one. Just pick the number 5. Go through your feed on either Instagram or Facebook or whatever you're using, and find 5 posts to like. And then on the same post, make a comment about it. And then on the person that made the post, shoot them a message, right? Like you see somebody that you know is on vacation, like it, comment, cool trip, shoot a message. Where was that? That was epic, right? And guess what, folks? You didn't hear me say anything about real estate, right? All we're doing is just being a normal human being. We're engaging with the people that you are already connected to. They will respond back because everybody likes to get the messages and have people interact on their media. And what's going to happen is they're then going to see your content, right? Social media is set up to show you what social media thinks is going to keep you on the platform longer. So if you're engaging with certain people, those people will engage back with you, and then you'll each see each other's content more frequently. So then when you make your post about real estate or put a story up, you're likely to have that person see it, as opposed to if you had not made a like or a comment or a message. Okay. Very, very powerful. And if you do 5 a day, 5 different people a day, you can overlap with some of the same or whatever, but you just got to find 5 different ones, or maybe it's 3. I don't know really what it's going to be for you. It just you just have to pick a number, and you have to start doing it. Now, when you post content on social, I don't know how much should be real estate, how much should be personal life. It's really up to you. I personally think the majority, like 50% or more, can easily be real estate without being overwhelming to people, right? It's no problem if they see that. And then the other half can be your personal lives. And make sure you do post personal. I mean, people want to see who you are. They want to see your personality. And that's the reason why they are, watching, because they're just trying to get to know you a little bit better. It's almost like your own TV channel now. Okay. So definitely interact, engage, and then, based on that, with these communications, you will start to build your visibility more and more. And once they see real estate, you're going to start basically cementing real estate equals you, which is what we want long-term. Okay. All right. What I would like to do, we're going to wrap it up. But I want to point out that in your manual on page number 13. So I'm going to leave this for you as your homework assignment. Okay. What I would like for you to do is on page 13, you're going to write down all of your lead sources, all the different ways that you think you can get business, whether you're currently using them or not. Write down the lead sources. And then in the second column, you're going to put them in order of most importance. Now, if you've sold property before, you're going to put them in order of the ones that produce the most business for you, whether it's social, whether it's sphere of influence, whether it's door knocking or open houses or expireds, whatever it is. You're going to put them in order based on where you expect to generate the most business or where you already have generated the most business. And then in the last column, you're going to put the top 5 you're going to focus on. Okay. You're going to put the top 5. Now, some of you may only pick top 3 when you're just kind of launching your business to really go all in on a couple things. That's fine. 3 is okay. And then on page number 14, you're going to basically break down, okay, on part A on page 14, you're going to pick your top 3 sources. In part B, you're going to write down the number one, the first one that you're going to start with in the number one section here. And you're going to write down the pros and cons to that lead gen, right? Pros, good ROI, fast converting. Cons might be time consuming. I don't know the skills. I don't know how to do it yet, right? So you want to be thoughtful about what are some of these roadblocks and how are you going to get past them, which is actually moving on to the next page, on page number 15, part C. You're going to take your first prospecting method. Let's just say it was open house. And you're going to get clarity around what do you need? Resources. When are you going to start? Who are you going to target? What are you going to do when you meet somebody? How will you know if it's working and you're successful, and how will you track your results? Right? And then lastly, in part D, what could go wrong and what can you do ahead of time to get ahead of any potential pitfalls? And folks, what we're doing here really is we're basically creating your own custom lead gen plan and being more thoughtful and proactive on how to utilize, find out the resources and tools, figure out what could get in the way, how you can get derailed, what could go wrong, what could go right, how are you going to track your numbers and make sure it's working. And then once all that's done, you execute, right? You get it in your calendar and you start doing the work. Okay. All right. Let's wrap up for the day. What I'd like for you guys to do is just, I want you to take a minute and think about what is something that you heard today. Just give me an aha. And maybe I'll have one or two of you share real quickly the one nugget that really stood out for you today, and then we will move on. So who wants to share the one thing they heard that was impactful for them today?
For me, it was the door knocking that I know that's something I've been thinking about it, but I didn't know how, like what to say at the door. So thank you very much for the examples that you gave us.
You
You
got
have
it.
to ask those questions and talk about the neighbors to
You
get
got
them
it.
in.
Yep, you bet. You bet. A lot of people think door knocking means I'm going to go find a listing today, but what it really means is planting long-term seeds. So use the script, make sure you know what your value and contribution items are when you're knocking so that you have something to give and not trying to just take. You got to be, coming from value and contribution, but great. And Karina, in the scripts folder, I put the link to, there are some door knocking scripts in there. The one I use is the KW folder, KW just listed, just sold. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, one more. Who else wants to share an aha, and we will wrap it up for the day? What was
I'll
the one?
share.
Okay.
I like the LCM, the like, the commit, and the message. Like, I've been trying to build my friends on Facebook and Instagram. So I've been doing that for the last 3 weeks, and I'm over 150. So I like the fact that you said pick 3, likes and commit, do a message to them and reach out to them and let them know you like it. And then when they see yours, they'll, respond back to you. So I really like that, because when you said, when I do post something about real estate, then, they will see my character, the way I am in my personal life and also with my real estate, and then they will give me some respond back. So I like that.
I love it. I love it. That's fantastic. So yeah, I mean, it's just, and the nice thing about the LCM, like, comment, message, it's just, it helps you have a plan for the day. So it's not haphazard. It's very purposeful that you're reaching out. If you're not doing it, purposefully now, this gives you a plan of action. So it gets done every day and you don't have to think about it. And you can literally put it in your calendar at noon every day, right before lunch. I'm going to go do my 5 for the day. Right. Okay.
So I really like that, because that just gives me another opportunity to, communicate with my friends, and so I've been getting a lot of compliments they've been sending me, but I want to also continue to compliment them back. So that's going to help me. So I appreciate that.
Awesome. Very good. I love it. I'm glad. So those are some great action items. And then lastly, folks, I'm going to wrap up by saying, get out and do open houses. You must be doing open houses. I mean, $2.5 million in volume in just a couple of weeks is pretty incredible. That is a very fast turnover. Every person that was in that list that put deals up from open house, they were from time to the open house to being in contract, all of them were within 7 days. So imagine being in escrow within a week's time because you met somebody that bought a house right away, right from you, and you got 15, 20, 25,000 bucks coming in. One was a $1.2 million deal, right? Not bad. So, all right, I'll leave it at that, folks. Have a great Tuesday. We'll be back Thursday with our marketing section of lead generating. So I will see you then. Have a great week and get out there and sell some houses, everybody.
Thank you, Nick.
You are
Thank
welcome.
you.
Bye-bye all.